Hey everybody, this is Casey, and we are on to part 2 of making over this. It's an Edwardian style cabinet, and I'm making it over into like an old world French paint finish is what I call it. So for part 2, after I've done my base, my prep coat, my base work, I've added on a fairly generous layer of Rust-Oleum metallic gold. And then once that dried, then I'm coming in and just doing some detail. And this detail I'm going over is again with kind of a medium light blue. I mix my colors and create custom colors probably about 80% of the time, and that's what this is. So this medium light blue, it's kind of like a French blue, and I'm just going on and putting it on some layers, so where that gold shows through. We have some of the real light, cloudy, antique white light blue that's my base coat showing through in some areas. And so you get those real pretty French layers. So we have the light, foggy, cloudy, antique white, then the gold, and then this blue. And we'll go ahead and add some more details. I think the important aspect of this step, and really even all steps in this process, is to use your paint sparingly. Like, I don't glob it on. I have just a little bit on my brush, and sometimes I'll even wipe some off. I'll do some in a little bit in one area and another in another area, so it doesn't get globby in one spot or too heavy in one spot, if that makes sense. So this, I love this right now where it's at. I feel like if you wanted to stop here and just run with this, that it would be great. But this piece is so ornate. It has a lot more detail on it that I want to highlight. So I mixed together some ivory, and I'm going to do some ivory on just the trim and the ornate pieces. Now, because a lot of this, the paint is on this ornate trim, has blue and gold on it, I'm doing 2 coats of the ivory. So this is chalk paint. So once it dries, the first coat on my trim, I'll go back and add a second coat. Because if you don't add that second coat, once it dries, what you get is kind of a real dirty white or a real faded white. And I want it to pop a little bit more than that. I'm just using an artist brush. I usually get my artist brush that I use for trim and detail work from Hobby Lobby. I've even used some artist brush that I've gotten like from Dollar General when I was in a pinch and needed something quickly. Then I've done that before, and they actually work pretty well for me. So I don't think you have to spend a lot on artist brush to get the job done. And so you just want a brush that's a little stiff, and so that has some that's just not too flexible, because those are hard to control. So this is how it's coming along, and now I've using a chip brush, and I'm kind of going in circles. What I have here, the color that I'm using, I'm going back and forth between my French blue and a real pale light green. And so that light green is just going to blend in very subtly, especially when it's blended a little bit with the blue and the gold, to give it some dimension. And I do love that cloud-like look, so that's what I'm going for. This piece is listed on my Etsy shop for $1,800. That includes free shipping. And a new thing that I'm doing is I'm beginning to create collections of furniture, and I'm naming those collections. And so what that means is, like, this cabinet is part of my Heavenly collection. And I named it that just because the colors and it's kind of, to me, heaven looking. Like, what I have in my mind is heaven, like very golds and cloudy blues and some ivories and whites. It just, kind of traditionally, artistically how heaven is portrayed, and that's what I named it. And so what that means to me is why I'm creating a collections. If somebody wanted to buy this, then they could also view in time as this collection is built other pieces that are complementing to this that would go well to put in the same room as this. I've had customers buy things on Etsy many times and be like, oh, I need something else that will go along to match this. And so I thought if somebody could look at this piece and say, hey, I love the Heavenly Collection, but I want a dresser in it, or I want a console in it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I have all of these colors kind of documented, and I can create something for you. And it's easy for them to say, I like this style and I like the colors in this collection. And so that's a new thing that I'm doing, that I'm trying out. I believe that it'll work well, and it'll help to simplify, maybe simplify the shopping experience for customers, and also help me to provide an avenue for me to understand better like what they want when they can pick and choose from different collections. And so I've gone back over this with extra white, and I've top coated this with Wise Owl salve, and I put it on with a wax brush, a thick round brush, and then I just buffed it with a lint-free cloth. I did a very subtle top crosshatch finish, painted finish on the top, and you will see that I have my drawers backwards. That's why they look kind of funny. Somebody on Facebook pointed that out to me, and I later fixed it, but it's not fixed for this video. But I hope you enjoyed this. I kept the drawers inside, and the drawer trims the natural wood, and I just thought that cherry wood finish was a really beautiful accent against this cabinet colors. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you later.